Hi, welcome to Brady's Blunders, where I share the mistakes in my games, hoping you don't make the same ones in yours. You know, I've been noticing an interesting phenomenon in the likes on these videos. And to put it simply, that is, the simpler the video, the more likes it gets. And I guess that makes total sense. The simpler videos deal with common situations and they have simple guidelines, and I think that's something we all appreciate. You know, broad ideas of how to think in a particular situation. Um, and so it makes sense that those would be more popular. But that said, when I started Brady's Blunders, it was with the idea of I'm going to show you where I'm losing games. And the nature of that is going to be typically middle game and slightly more complicated, but hopefully still useful. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to try to do both. I'm going to keep doing the videos where I'm losing the games and therefore typically more complicated. But I will also try to follow what I did with the Nick videos and continue to talk about some simpler concepts and simpler mistakes that I made in the hopes that that is applicable to a higher percentage of your games and still quite useful. So why do I bring this up? Well, this video is about a brutal mid-game fight and therefore is by its nature complicated. But that said, it's full of what I think is really good stuff and really useful to me anyway, and I hope you find it useful as well. Let's get started. Okay, so this is a continuation of the prior video, the one where I made 5 consecutive mistakes in the upper left, but still came out of it okay. But now we're much later in the game. And you can see that my white group in the top center is actually looking unhappy. It's not alive yet. And that said, black is just Tanuki on the bottom, where he's claiming a large amount of territory and linking his groups. But I think that was a mistake, and he should have continued to attack me. So I looked at the board for a while, and I considered this move, making a big eye space and life. But instead, I wanted to find something that was more severe. So I looked at the board, and I found something that I thought would work. So I played a few moves, played here, he answered, I played here, and he connected. And it's at this point that I'm like, cool, actually, I think I found a Tesuji that works. And it will split this black group off. Of course, the only way that's meaningful is if I keep him from connecting by killing these 2 stones, so I save those 2 stones as preparation. And black says, nope, I really want the bottom and to connect, and he continues to say so. Okay, so here's the game problem. And can you find a Tesuji for white that splits off that black group? And perhaps more importantly, can you find the correct follow-ups to maximize the chance of success for white? Go ahead and pause if you like. Right. I played here, which was the Tesuji. And when Jenny saw it, she said, wow. And not that it's such an amazing move, but that she didn't expect me to see it. And I think my go is a little bit more plotting, if you will. And, you know, I go ahead and make correct moves. I rarely make really clever moves. So I think that was the wow. And when my opponent played here, and I pulled back, and then my opponent played here, and Jenny was like, you know, this is like a professional sequence. And then I went ahead and split black, and I did it this way. And Jenny laughed, and she says, okay, I take back all claims of professional looking play, because this move was not the best way to split. And I'll go ahead and show why soon. All right, but it does split black, who played here. And then I played here, putting this group into Atari. So black captured here, and then I pulled back. So black is split, so a mission accomplished, right? Well, it could have been better. Black then went and took this spot, which threatens to connect his groups, and it takes away my eye space here. So that's annoying. And then black played here, threatening my other eye space. And this actually could be the losing move if I answer correctly, which I didn't. And instead I just said, all right, no, I'm going to keep this eye. And then he played here, which actually was the losing move. And because when I went ahead and made this eye over here, it's actually gote for black. In other words, he's losing the initiative. If he goes and plays somewhere else, and then I get to play here, he's going to be captured. So he pushed through, threatened to capture this stone, and I played an Atari, and he connected. But this gave me a sequence that I really, really wanted and was absolutely devastating. And that is, I was able to push through this way and take away a huge proportion of his outside liberties, and all in Sentai. So this was wonderful for me. And then when I came back and saved that stone, the game is over. Black played here, trying to make it so I didn't have a big eye. But then when I took away his only eye, it became an eye versus no eye situation, and I was going to win. So he resigned. But even if he went ahead and made an eye there, if I got this move in, it becomes big eye versus small eye, and again, I'm going to win. And if you're interested in how the liberties would fill out, go ahead and look at the game record, and I've linked to it in the information down below. But this is good for white, and therefore he resigned. So, yay! One reason I wanted to show this is some people have been saying, come on, Brady, show us a good game that you played. Show us something where you had a nice big kill or for a win. So I wanted to do that. But that said, both he and I made a lot of mistakes leading up to this point. So let's go ahead and go through those. Like I said, this was the losing move. And instead of that, if black just played here, he'd have been fine. And he's at worst going to get Seki. And you can see that this is already making eye shape. And he's already got half an eye here. So let's say I go ahead and take away the second eye. Well, then he gets another Sente move there, and he could play here. And with this move, he now has four in a row eye shape, and he's alive. And if I try to cut like this, obviously he can just capture the cutting stones. So the cut taking away eye shape doesn't work. And as a matter of fact, I'm probably best off going ahead and making sure I have two eyes as well. So this would be mutual life, which obviously wasn't my goal when I played the cut. So what does that mean? That means this move wasn't the best. And instead of here, I should play exactly where black wanted to play. Black's going to if black loses the stone, then I'm all connected out. And you can see he's only got a half an eye here. But the other thing this stone does is it tells black you're not getting any eyes over here either. So when black plays here, yeah, it's good for me. I can just come back and follow the same sequence as before. And it's going to be either big eye versus small eye or an eye versus no eye. And white will win the fight. So this would be good for white. So it turns out that playing here is actually the key move in this fight for both of us in almost every variation we could go through. And so if I have this, that probably means this move was wrong. Where should it be? Well, you can guess. If black plays here, black is going to live. And if white resists too hard, white could get into deep trouble. So let's continue back to the beginning where I said that Jenny kind of laughed at me. One moment she was saying my move looked like a pro move, and then the next she goes, no, I take it back. And let me explain why that is. And it was this move. So when I played this, that's when, I want to make one thing clear. When I say Jenny laughs at me, it's really not mean. It's just, we're friends. And it's totally cool. So when I played here, and then black played here, and then I played here, and then black played here. So notice black is getting this stone and this stone, both in Sente. And because he got this stone, now he gets to play A in Sente. So again, notice, black is getting both of these. And that's very different than if I play properly. So if this isn't a pro move, what is? This is. And so skip the first move right to the second move. And if black tries to play this, it doesn't work because you can see that black can't connect here. So black's going to get split. If he connects, he's an Atari. So black is going to need to do something like this, and I will pull back. So notice he got this move, but he didn't get this move. He got one of the two. And that's the difference, is if I do it this way, it saves an entire move. It's like an entire move difference. So that's a big deal. But that said, if we play this, and then black gets here, black is going to be just fine. Hi, Future Brady here with a quick correction. And I showed a variation where if white played here, black could play here, and white would pull back, and then I said black would be just fine with this move. But black's got a better choice in this, and that is after white plays here, black should go ahead and make the half eye over here, and then black will be fine this way. Anyway, I just wanted to correct it. Back to regular Brady. So what can I do differently, or even better than this? And this comes back to the area of preparation that we talked about. And the really cool preparatory move that I could do in this situation is here. And if you look at it and think, but you're just giving away a stone. That, white can't kill anything there. That's absolutely true. And if black just defends, white's real goal is to get this. And then you notice now white has really good eye shape and isn't going to worry very much or at all about making a second eye after getting this. So when black connects, now white can come ahead and play this splitting move. And the best situation for both, the best continuation for both, goes something like this, where black captures there, so white needs to come back, and now black plays here, and black will live and white will live. So, and it's fine. So it's annoying that if we both play right, I shouldn't have killed black, although it was nice to kill black. But it's also quite funny how many mistakes we both made. So, what to learn from this video? Two things. Number one, the preparatory moves, again, here and up here, are key to making the situation favorable. And then second, comes back to reading, doesn't it? And finding the move that doesn't cost a move, playing here instead of here, is huge. And then finding for both sides that playing at J9 is the correct move over and over and over again. But when I did my own review, I didn't find it. So anyway, I hope you found it useful. See you next time.